Yeah. On a Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, we're on week 7. I'm going to let this play for a second. Get in the mood. Get a little vibey with it. Come on. Right now, you're listening. MB14 made this track for us right here, Beyond the Beats, the official SBX podcast. We're on week 7. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited because this week we have on David Tversky, and he is a.k.a. D-Koy. There's a lot of stuff to talk about with him. I'm excited to go and get into this. I hope you're sitting at home. If you're having a good time, say yes. 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 Thank you very much, everybody. But I think we're going to get into it like that. Once again, week 7, right here live on Swissbeatbox's YouTube channel. Please share this round. Give it a thumb up. Send some comments in at the end of the conversation. If you guys have some questions, put it in the chat. Madox will go through and find some of the best questions, and I'll ask them to D-Koy. But let's get into this. So one more time. Y'all ready? Yes. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, right here live, Beyond the Beat, the official SBX podcast with my man coming at you direct, D-Koy. How you feeling out there? How you doing, D-Koy?
What's up, man? I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited. I got a lot of energy this morning. Got my coffee right in the morning, so I'm ready to go. How about yourself?
Fixing my sleep schedule.
It does take time for that to work out, for sure.
Yeah.
And you're back in Boston?
Yes,
Back
correct.
in the Boston area?
Yes.
So what time is it there for you right now?
10:02 a.m.
10:02 a.m. Yeah, it's 10 o'clock here in Toronto as well. So, again, people are watching from around the world. I already see that we got a bunch of people listening in live. So, once again, if you guys are sitting at home, spread this around. Tell your friends to go and tune in, and let's have a conversation with my man D-Koy. So, I wanted to go and start off by saying thank you for coming on, first of all. And, yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. You said you started beatboxing in approximately 2011, 2012 after watching the beatbox battle from Emperor of the Mic, where it was Darnie versus Korean Effects, the one where Darnie got on his knee and gave flowers to Korean Effects, threw it over his shoulder. And you found that from trying to go and find breakdance videos to go and watch because you were into breakdancing at the time. So what really drew you into beatboxing? What was so interesting that you're just like, I need this in my life? And who are your biggest inspirations aside from Darnie when you first started beatboxing?
Yeah, I don't know exactly why I got drawn in because I was so young. I actually, before 2011 and in 2009, I did know about it. I just didn't know it was called beatboxing. So I was making sounds with my mouth already in first grade. That's my earliest memory. It was like some show and tell, and I went up in front of the class and did like the hand cupping and did like the pooch. So that's my earliest memory. I don't know what drew me in exactly. I was just like a really energetic kid. So anything like breakdancing, yeah, and then beatboxing just added on to that, I think.
And was Darnie, you still say, is your favorite beatboxer, but was that, seeing that video, was that just like what blew your mind and you're just like, I need to go and really start practicing and pursuing this?
Yeah, that was the video that like actually got me into, I guess, watching the scene. I still didn't know like where the events were, how to get to them, any of that. I was just sitting back and just watching. And
as soon as you saw that video, did you kind of go like most kids do nowadays, where you can go through all the videos you can find online and be like, what's this battle? What's that? Who's this guy? Follow the world champs. Let's go and see what's happening on Grand Beatbox. Like, was that video kind of an open gateway to go into the rabbit hole of beatboxing per se?
Yeah, I definitely watched videos after that. I think I was like really just watching Emperor of the Mic. Like I didn't even like associate that with Swissbeatbox or anything. It was just like, this is a beatbox battle. And like in my mind, I think it was like the only one. I don't even know. Like, yeah, it's just so hard to remember, to be honest.
That's true. Well, it was a little while ago. And the first video that I found of you really beatboxing, I found a few, but one of them was in 2012, July. You were doing Smooth Criminal at a camp. You did Smooth Criminal at a camp. It was the Russian School of Math camp. And I was going to say, is that one of the first places, aside from like the classroom, where you got to showcase on a microphone And what did the campers slash the people in charge kind of think of you taking this skill and trying it out?
Yeah, yeah, camp's a big part of my life. So I'm actually going there next month. I probably have about 2 years left. I'm a counselor now. So, yeah, like I remember doing it there and just like my counselor encouraging it a lot and people just saying like, yeah, that's really cool. Keep going. Who knows, like if there wasn't that encouragement, if I'd still be doing it. But yeah, like it's really cool. I come back there every year and, I'm getting better and better. And I can see like the reaction, like, yo, show me your new sounds, stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It was definitely a cool place to express myself.
And speaking of the camp, I just wanted to know because I've seen again through Facebook and whatnot that camp is a big part of your life. I never got to go to camp, and I always kind of wanted to because it just looks like an awesome time. So at that camp, where does that take place? Is it near the Boston area? And also, can you just give a few like ideas of what happens at the camp when you're up there? I know it's games, and I know it's like you have your different I guess troops or whatever you want to call it sectioned off. But like it just looks like an awesome time.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. So it's in New Hampshire, which is like a few hours north. It's like 2.5 hours away from me. So yeah, like there, it's mainly like Russian people. So I'm Russian. My family moved from there here. So it's a lot of families like that. So like the kids can kind of bond over being the first people of their families like born in the country. I don't know. It's kind of like a pretty like unique trait that we all have and we can bond over. So yeah, on there it's called a math camp, but you do like an hour and a half of math a day. Besides that, it's just like it's a pretty normal camp. We have like activities. We have like games all the time, sports. The troops, I think what you're talking about, you might have seen pictures like maybe me with the tennis racket. I don't know, and the hat. I don't know if you saw that one. Yeah. So it's called Color Wars, where the counselors or CITs, counselor in training, we make like 6 groups for the colors of the rainbow, and then we have like Color Wars playing sports against each other, and like like we just try to like cheer the kids up and just have a good time. So yeah.
And how does that work? Where you've gone from an attendee now to a counselor, and does that mean just like a coming of age thing where you get a little older and you've been to the camp, so now you can go and give that knowledge and those experiences to the next generation of kids there?
Yeah. So like once you get old enough, you can just be a counselor there, and my sister went there too, and we're pretty close with the family that runs it now. So yeah, we've known them for a while.
That's very cool. And then you said it's mostly Russian kids that had parents immigrate over to America. And is that like obviously it must be a comforting thing to go and meet them and have, be able to speak about your experience coming and having grown up with Russian family members, that first came over here, and you're the first generation of Americans. So could you talk a little bit about that, just how it feels to go and have someone be like, oh, you're just like me. Okay, we can talk and converse and make it easy.
Yeah, just like the the bilingual household. There's also the side where like Russian parents are known to be like strict, etc. Pretty hard on schooling. It is a math camp in the end. So if you're not learning something at the end of the day, they won't send you there. So yeah, I don't know. It's just cool. Because there are like there's also like the struggle side where you are still a little bit different because like you're raised on a lot of like Russian principles in America. So the way you think, the way you act, etc. Being able to talk about it with some other people that are experiencing it like you is just like a really nice experience and time.
And the other, moving on from camp, I saw that you you've had many different videos that you put out that you took down over the years, because you put them out and I guess you just decided to go and change it up, and you had a couple different channels. But I did find a few different little videos where you had Best Beatboxing, spelled Beetboxing. And this is when you said best beatboxing ever from a 10-year-old. And you covered in the one video Smooth Criminal to Billie Jean to Rolling in the Deep. And you speak how much you love Michael Jackson. And then episode 2 that I saw where you beatbox Nice Guys finished last. And I was going to wonder, what inspired you right off the hop of basically starting to beatbox to go and make videos and have that idea of being like, okay, I saw other people do it, so now I'm going to go and make my own videos and put it out there?
Oh, it's really hard to remember. I don't know why I recorded myself, but I think it just came at an era where, you'd see those videos. I don't know what it was called, but there was like this German kid who was like 14 years old who was
Alex, yeah.
Yeah, Alex, yeah. Videos like that, and then just like a lot of kids started posting them. I remember just watching kids, and yeah, like my mindset was like, oh, I'm better than this. I can. Yeah, I said I can do this. I can be on that level, and yeah, like a lot of that time was just fueled by these kids are posting and getting all these views. Let's try it out. I think that was probably it.
Well, I did enjoy watching it because it showed you as obviously a young man, as you're still young, obviously, but I mean, it was just funny for me to go and watch it, like, whoa, he's already posting videos at 10 years old. I didn't even like really have knowledge of beatboxing at that point. I was doing the same thing of making sounds, but didn't really put that together as much as to go and create a YouTube channel, put a video out, and from those videos, what did your family think and friends think that saw them?
I don't even know if they saw them, man. Like, yeah, I was like pretty quick with the computer, and still am. Like, I still struggle to use my phone a lot. Like I made a Facebook account when I was 7, I'm pretty sure, to play these little Facebook games online. That was the only reason. I wasn't like trying to add people or talk with anybody on there. But yeah, my sister was in high school at the time, and I was like 7 or something. So yeah, I'd like play against her in these games, and while she was in school, I'd just like try to get a higher level or whatever, just try to beat her in the game. So yeah, I think just being on the computer was the reason for like making videos and all of that.
And in that second video, you said that your mom and dad gave you kind of a hard time because you kept on repeating Nice Guys finished last and kept on repeating the song and doing it over and over again and beatboxing it and singing it. And I was going to say too, since you do have that immigrated parent from Russia, what was the original kind of support that you got for beatboxing? Or was it like myself included and a lot of different people, when you start, you're just being told, stop making stupid sounds, stop that stuff? Or did they encourage it and try to foster you to get better at it?
Yeah, no, it was the classic. Yeah, stop doing that. Yeah, I mean, it even is sometimes still like that, but they've gotten to appreciate it more. I think they see I'm passionate about it, so I think they're like, what are we gonna do about it? Might as well like support it at least somehow. So they've helped bring me to a lot of events now. I'm grateful for that. So it shows me support in one form or another.
Yeah, and one of the first events that I saw that you went to, because you had done shows at camp, and then you went in 2015 at 13 years old, you met up with Gene after messaging back and forth, and a guy named David put you in contact, and you said, or maybe not David, but anyways, I'm going to just keep on going with the story. So in 2015, you meet up with Gene to do your first actual beatbox showcase, and that was at EMW Music's bookstore in Cambridge. And how was that experience to go? And because you said that's the first real beatboxer you ever met was Gene, and for him just to be so welcoming and put you on stage and give you that showcase, and at the end of it being like, whoa, what the heck was that? It was a 13-year-old, and you can hear from the crowd being like, that's the future of beatboxing. And obviously I'd assume that your parents and or somebody else in the family helped you get to there, because a 13-year-old just jumping on a bus was a little bit odd.
Yeah.
And we're just going to be like, yeah, go ahead, figure it out.
Yeah. So yeah, I went with my dad there, and one of my camp friends actually. He was like my CIT at the time. So I remember going there, and I think when I messaged Gene at first, I think that's when I discovered beatboxers on Facebook, and like it. I think I can still say that to really know when events are happening and staying up to date, like Facebook is one of the best resources. So like you see all the events being posted on there. And yeah, I think I just started reaching out to beatboxers after that. I don't know how I found out Gene was in the Boston area at that time, but yeah, when I found that out, I sent him a message, and this was before like GBB happened, so he was still like just battling in America. And then from the time of me starting to message him to that event, I think he won GBB. Um, so yeah, it was just really, really crazy timing. And yeah, I went there, and I just all I remember is like the room was pretty packed and it was pretty small. So it was like a long like hall almost. And yeah, I was like just in the back the whole time with my dad until it was my turn to go up. But I remember before then, like getting a call home by one of the people in the store, hey, we just want to confirm that like you're cool with your son coming here, along the lines of that, because I was just messaging Gene. There was no parents involved in that conversation. So yeah, but I went there and I was really shy, and was for like my first few events, for the first like year of going to live events, year and a half. But yeah, I ended up going up there, and it was crazy. The experience, it was just really cool. I remember seeing the Beatbox House and all those guys.
And from the when you first put videos out, again, from doing those rudimental beatboxing at the camp to 2013 or 15, when you actually went and got to do that show with Gene, you improved like so much, because you actually had some, like you said, you were freestyling it a little bit and you were just doing whatever, but you had definite pieces. The basis of your thing just exploded, and you were getting much better. And was that obviously just sitting down and practicing? That's the only way you can get better, right? But what really helped you practice at the beginning? Were there tutorials that you watched? Did you just study beatboxing and just learn by yourself, or were there someone else that you were hanging out with before even meeting Gene that was kind of showing you a few things?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I ever learned from like that live event. I never like jammed with anyone. I don't even know if they were jamming. I think I left it pretty early. Like right after I went, I stayed for like 10-15 minutes more, and then I went home. But yeah, like practicing, I don't even think I really thought of it like that. I was just so like why like it was my whole day pretty much. I'd come home and do it. In school I'd do it, and it was just always freestyling. So I think eventually you get the patterns that you repeat pretty frequently, and your mind just remembers that. So whenever you're on stage, you can just throw them out one after the other, and it sounds like decent.
Somewhat routines.
Yeah, somewhat routines, yeah.
and then going forward into your battling career, because as soon as you did that, like I think within a few months, you found out about the New England Beatbox Champs, and when you went there, you actually made it into the top 16 in your first experience of going into a battle, live battle. So, how was the feeling of being like, okay, I'm going to try out this battle, then making it into the top 16? Because I assume there was more people than 16 that were trying out for it, right? So that feeling of getting into the top 16 and actually being able to battle in 2015.
Yeah, that was a really cool experience too, because it just seemed like, I think the Gene thing was kind of last minute, and I didn't really get to absorb it that much. Whereas here, this was in like also in Massachusetts, but it was like on the complete opposite side, kind of in an area where there's not much going on. So I went there with my mom, and it was a pretty sketchy place, to be honest. There was I remember like pulling up, and there was just a bunch of beatboxers hanging out in like this. It was like nighttime, so I don't know. I think my mom even asked like, "Hey, are you sure you want to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, screw it." So yeah, I remember that's where I heard like other beatboxers like off mic for the first time. And I remember, I don't know why this stuck out to me, but there was like a big room where there was a pool table, I remember, and I remember Kazu from Human Beatbox playing there, I think with Napalm. But yeah, it was just really cool. I remember that was the first time I think I saw BBK. And yeah, there was like a time where they were calling everyone into like the actual room where they battled. And I remember the beatboxers all just going by. I was like waiting there on the side with my mom. And I just hear these beatboxers, you know, like cupping their ear and like dropping some beats, like preparing for the battle or something. I remember Villain doing something and me just being like, holy cow, like that's crazy. So yeah, like I don't know, that experience was crazy going up. I don't really remember my reaction towards passing the limbs, but I mean, I'm sure I was happy. I think I was pretty confident actually going into it. I thought that I would pass, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I think Exacto was the first guy I battled ever. Super unique and crazy guy. It was super nice. And I just remember a bunch of people coming after my battle and being like, hey, you know, like telling my mom, your son is like really crazy. That's also actually where I met so Hershey, State Street, and Jen, and that was kind of the beginning of Boston Beatbox for me. So they were really welcoming, and yeah, they invited me, and they started having meetups, and yeah, it went on from there.
Yeah, well, that's like the first time that you ever meet beatboxers in a big group and realize that it's like, oh, it's not just me that does this. Obviously, it's not just people on the internet, because these people are real and you get to see them. And from what all the experiences I've had, the beatbox scene everywhere is pretty open, where they're just welcoming and being like, oh, you do this too? All right, cool. They don't really, it's not a thing about age, gender, race, or anything like that. It's just, oh, you beatbox? All right, cool. We can get together and then we practice, and the knowledge gets handed and you pass down sounds in between different people and learn about it. So it's always, I definitely had that feeling as well when I first went to a beatbox battle, because I went down to Scribble Jam in Ohio and I was like, whoa, there's this guy, like there's Poisonous. Whoa, there's, you know, meeting heaven, and being like, okay, now there's some people that I know do it. So that must have been a cool experience. And then in 2016, your next battle that you go to is the Boston Beatbox battle, where you make it into the top 8 after beating Ben Mirren for your first battle win live. So was that an important battle for you, again, making it into the top 16 and then also winning your first actual live head-to-head battle, for even if it wasn't into the finals and winning the finals, but you won a beatbox battle live on mic?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a pretty big experience for me. I ended up, so Ben Mirren, he was at Gene's showcase actually the first time. I remember my dad enjoyed Ben Mirren's showcase the most. He was doing like he was putting in bird sounds into a loop, and just like, yeah, you know, it was like a really sick act. I enjoyed it a lot, and yeah, it's just really cool like battling him after then. I wasn't sure who I went with to that event actually, but yeah, after beating Ben, I ended up going up against Amit, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And yeah, that was really cool, because, you know, Amit at that time, you know, the few years prior was like, you know, the best of America, and still is. So yeah, it was like, it was a really awesome experience, and I remember just getting a pretty good crowd reaction there. Still shy at that event for sure, but yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
And then by 2017, and I'll get into some of the stuff afterwards when I ask you about it, but 2017, you win your first battle, your first official battle that was online on Dubcord, and you won the $100 for it. And yeah, I'm watching you. I see.
I don't even remember that. I'll be honest. I don't know. Maybe.
You said that was the first battle you ever actually won. It was August 21st, 2017, and you won $100. And there were some people online that you actually got to battle. So I guess if you don't remember it, but you're already on the online scene battling. So to go and win a tournament after doing some live events and then going into the online world and battling, it must have been a good experience, obviously, to go and be like, okay, I'm actually winning a tournament now. Okay, now I'm getting my feet more wet and more wet, because then in 2017, after that win, you go to the American champs and you actually made top 16 in 2017. So that makes you one of the youngest guys ever to get into the top 16, especially in America, which is just filled with talent in such a large area to go and have so many beatboxers. So could you tell me about that experience of going to the American champs and actually making top 16 and getting to go and battle for the title of the American champ?
Yeah. So actually, I went to American champs in 2016 too. That I think that was my the event after. I didn't pass the limbs there, but I remember just meeting a lot of cool beatboxers there too, like from other parts of America, like Mr. Wobbles, like DJ Bean, all those guys. So it was like it was cool energy, and then a lot of younger guys too, around my age. That's when you started having like people like Audicles showing up live. Inertia was there that year. And that year was crazy for me because the judge panel was insane. LM, Darnie, that's the first time I met Darnie. And yeah, I was still really shy there. So that's probably, why you don't see me in a lot of pictures, or maybe there are a lot. I just remember staying away from like jam circles, or just like thinking, is this the right time to do a sound? Just like really second guessing myself. And there was like a lot of cameras everywhere when I walked up. I remember LM was getting interviewed by somebody. So yeah, it was completely different experience for me. And yeah, I think till 2017. So the online battle on Dubcore, yeah, I don't actually remember it. But after American Champs in 2016, I remember J Watt and Void spoke to Kazu and John of HBB, and they created the Human Beatbox Discord server. So that's what really got me into online. I knew about TeamSpeak and Ventrilo before too, so I did head into rooms just with my mic muted. I don't know if I went by D-Koy then, but I just remember being in rooms and just like listening. I didn't really feel as welcome there, or maybe it was just me being nervous or shy, but I didn't know when to jam. When someone ended their turn, it just seemed like the next person started right off the bat, and I didn't feel like I had I could speak up and be like, hey, can I go? Or so yeah, I didn't really go online until Discord, and I ended up becoming a chat mod or something for them and helping them out with the 2016 online worlds, which never got like posted anywhere, but I got to battle in that, and I was also like a timer or recorded the videos for them. So yeah, I ended up becoming an admin on that server, and that's what got me into the whole online management and all that stuff. And then before 2017 American Champs, where I did get top 16, there was obviously a World Beatbox Camp, and
Yes, you got to go and battle Pash.
Yes, that was that experience, and that was on like the first or second night. My parents and I were on vacation in Europe, and like we just timed it up in a way that I could go there, and they were gonna spend some time with their friends somewhere else. So Kazu ended up being my supervisor, or like
Guardian?
guardian. The word fell out. So he ended up being my guardian, and luckily, I got a room to myself. I remember there were 2 beds in every room in that hostel. So many memories from that. That is probably still to this day like the most changing event for me. So yeah, I remember walking in with my dad in the sign up area, and I walk into the room, and right in front of me is Barry Wom. And yeah, they were super welcoming. They they shook my hand and my dad's hand, and like yeah, like this is gonna be super fun. So that was the event that really changed me. And second day I got to battle Passion. After that, I felt that battle I felt gave me confidence after to jam like that. I almost felt approval from that moment that okay, Like I'm actually pretty good. So I got to meet so many beatboxers who weren't who were pretty new or were like in my position where now a few years later we're doing battling in a lot of these bigger battles. So River, I remember like hanging out with him a lot before French champs, before any of that happened for him. There was a few others they fell on my head, but yeah, there's a great group of people like Scratchy. I remember I met him there from France. Super nice guy. Yeah, there were just so many like good mentors there, and everyone that year. I think because of the way it was advertised, not many people were sure how the event was gonna go, or at least that was the vibe that I got. So the ones that really actually went there were the ones who like were really invested into beatboxing, and I think because of that group, that year was so special. And yeah, just jamming, meeting Russian beatboxers who I could actually speak to. It was just so many things I remember from that event.
That battle with Pash again, you go from having some success in America and battling to basically right away battling one of the top guys in the world who's proven himself over and over again and really getting that confidence underneath you. So with that confidence, and also, was that one of the first times, as you said, you ever met, maybe you talked to someone online, but you actually met another Russian beatboxer that you could converse with so easily and have that connection of being like maybe a cultural thing, pride thing, where you're like, oh yeah, like there's the Mad Twins, and get to go and talk to them and they'll show you some stuff and they also connect with you because you speak their language and you have that maybe extra moments on the sideline to go and have that. And also meeting, as you said, River, for example. Big shout outs to River though. He's absolutely smashing it. But meeting River and having that that age also being a factor of to go and making that connection. So yes, that's amazing that you got that experience. And anybody that's watching, if you ever can, and when it does come back, come out to SBX camp because it's good darn time.
Yes,
and you can get opportunities to go and battle your heroes and get to go and chill with them and stuff. But bringing that back to America with that confidence, with that thing, and making top 16, was it in your mind of being like, I'm going to make it top 16, I'm going to make it to, I want to win the championship, obviously, but what was your mindset going into that 2017 American champs where you made top 16 and got to battle?
Well, Scott, maybe you forgot about this moment, but I certainly didn't. I remember I ended up leaving World Beatbox Camp, I think a few days early, like 3-4 days early. So unfortunately, I missed the dance battles. I missed meeting Reeps, Skiller, who ended up coming on the last day. So I still haven't met them, but I think that day is coming soon, hopefully. Yeah, it was just I remember towards the last day, or the last few days, I just did an all-nighter. That was the first time I did an all-nighter. And I stayed up, I think, almost 3 days in a row, okay? Where there was the hostel area, and then, there was that walk. It was maybe like a few miles to the actual place where people beatboxed and the classes were happening. So I remember just going there and then beatboxing with people. The battles happened at night, and then still beatboxing and just jamming till like 6-7 in the morning. And then people would walk back to the hostel, but then some people were already waking up, and then I just jam with them outside the hostel. And I remember one day it was you, Sinjo, and Gail. Yes.
Yes, I remember the run to KFC, I believe it was.
Yes, we ran to KFC. That was such a great time. We just told, we took an Uber or something, and we just said, like, hey, can you just get us to KFC? We ordered there, and so much food. That's all I remember.
We allowed Sinjo to order.
Sinjo ordered like 4 massive bags, and I remember sitting outside the hostel and like beatboxing there, and you were like helping me out a lot. I remember I learned, I think, fart bass in that moment, which now I use pretty frequently in my style. And also, I remember you saying, like, you're going to, I think, win American champs or something in the next, like, year or two or something like that. And, yeah, that stuck with me, and I still remember that. So, I don't know, like, going into that year, I felt way more confident, and my elimination turned out really well, and I'm still actually proud of my elimination. There's not many videos or performances I'm proud of, and even after that time, I think that's one of my best performances still. So yeah, I think I did pretty well there, and yeah, it was just a really cool moment.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a hilarious time at camp where, yeah, the walk back and forth that first time where it was going in and out, and then you'd meet up with people who were either falling asleep or waking up, or falling asleep or waking up, and it's just a long days and a long week, but there's a lot of fun to be had. So I'm
Yes.
also do remember the conversation sitting down and saying that I have confidence in you, because you obviously made an impression on me, and then going and seeing you at the champs and getting to introduce you in 2017, I was pretty stoked for you, being like, yeah, all right, he's on stage, makes the top 16. All right, he's getting it. And then the next 2 years, 2018, 2019, you get into the top 8. So you win battles at the American champs, and you do well at them, obviously. So I was going to say, how did it feel, again, being a young beatboxer, facing Pash, and then going back home and having success in the American scene, but as such a young beatboxer still, and getting to go and face someone with so much experience and such a top echelon of beatboxer? How was that feeling, and as a growing thing, other than just the confidence, but also, like, how did it feel to go and actually battle a guy where you're like, whoa, I'm battling Pash? Like, how did...
Yeah. So I remember that day, they were still deciding, how to do that fantasy battle. Like, everything was done on the spot. Like, formats were created like in front of my eyes, and I think that was like also one of the crazy things, because it was the first year. So I remember they split up right in front of the stage. At the battle, they split the crowd into 4 groups, and there was a judge for every like quadrant of beatboxers, and within every quadrant they picked the top like 4 beatboxers. So there was no mics or anything. It wasn't like an elimination. People were literally just beatboxing off mic, just beatboxing as like the judge was following along and just like listening to you, and it was just such a cool experience. And I remember, okay, I kind of smarted my way into it. I want to say I got lucky. I looked around the crowd and I was like, okay, where are the best beatboxers at? And I went to the corner where I thought I'd stand the best chance. And I actually think I wouldn't have gotten in if it wasn't for that. So I ended up being, I remember Chris Solis was the judge in mine. And he picked me, I think, as the 4th person or the 3rd or 4th person, something like that. So I ended up getting to do a limb on stage, live streamed on Swissbeatbox. That was like my first, feeling of being on Swiss or any of that. So I didn't think I passed the limbs. I was really nervous, of course, and somehow I did, and I just made it by. I think I seeded 8th, and the top 8 got to the battles, and Pash seeded the highest. So, and it was crazy. I remember in the battle, one judge voted OT against my battle with Pash. So it was ridiculous for me. Yeah, I was really nervous, and I was shocked when they called me on stage, because they didn't announce like the top 8. They just announced as the battles were happening who's up.
Yes. Yeah, man, that was a cool experience as well for, again, me to go and see it and be like, wow, the young guy's coming up and he's going to go against Pash and actually go and give him a run for his money, which is dope. And then I also going on in 2019 in June, you won the Beatbox RX or XR Series 1. You won the championship of that. And again, another win under your belt, and you've been winning and doing some online, the dailies and all these different beatboxes that battles that were happening. But to win that, because from what I looked up, that's a pretty high level of battles online. How was that to go and get that win before heading out and being like, okay, now it's time? Before I talk about your World League 2020 video, before we talk about that, but getting another win under your belt and getting that more experience and beating guys that are, again, top echelon in a hard battle. So how did that feel to go back online and get more success there?
Yeah, it was really cool, because at that time I was already running my server on Discord, and spending a lot of time there. So getting the opportunity to actually battle, for a prize was different for me. I didn't get to experience that much of that, and I still don't. So yeah, it was a really cool battle, and there were some really high level online beatboxers there. So I remember like Epaz and like X Flaws and so many of the guys that are really coming up now, and you will probably be seeing a lot more of them in the next few years. Yeah, it was really cool to win that battle, and I feel like my style was really developing around there. I remember for that, my friend came to my house that day, and we were just having a good time together, and I was battling in between, and it was just crazy win after win. I was like, I got to the finals, like, okay, I actually can do this, and yeah, I think that was, to my memory, before the dub chord battle, that was the first like battle where I actually remembered to win. Yeah.
And then also you had mentioned in passing getting that experience of jumping on in 2017 and getting exposure on Swissbeatbox. That was your first taste of that exposure. And they actually posted a video in 2018 of your first shout out with them. And before that, you did a video called Boston Pops with Beatbox Television and got exposure on that scene as well. So what did it mean to go and again get that recognition? Because I feel like there's so many people online all the time and first getting into the scene that are just like, my dream is to go and say big shout outs to my friend Paponi, and this is my shout out for Swissbeatbox, and they get to have that opportunity. But again, 2017, still new to the scene, still getting into it and getting some success. How important was that recognition to go and be like, okay, I made it to a Swissbeatbox shout out for you?
Yeah, so although my Swiss video, my shout out came out in 2018, that was actually recorded at World Beatbox Camp. Yeah. So there was actually a good while. I think something happened in the recording to my video. So I remember finding that out and being like super worried that, will I actually be able to go on this channel? And yeah, that waiting period, American Champs happened between World Beatbox Camp and my Swiss shout out coming out, and then the Beatbox Television shout out. So I remember both those really distinctly. Paponi came up to me after my battle with Pash, and that's when he asked if I wanted to do a shout out. And I remember, sure. And he was like, yeah, like practice hard, make a sick routine. And yeah, I remember spending a day or two. That's all that I had on my mind. I remember, that's when I found out, a lot of the people who I can trust and who I'm close with now in the scene. So I remember Scratchy helping me a lot on like my set. And that was the first time I really had to like know what I was going to do when that recording was going to start, because I didn't want to make a fool of myself. So yeah, like that was my first experience of that. And luckily it went pretty well. Super nervous there. And I think that was actually the period where I didn't sleep. So that video, I was probably, 2 days not sleeping into that, something like that. So that's all I could think about for that time. And yeah, for American Champs with Adam from BTV, him taking me to the side, and then yeah, he was recording me in like this on the side of American Champs. It was just super cool, like setting up the mics and everything. I was like, damn, okay, like I'm legit now,
Absolutely. And speaking of legit, Grand Beatbox Battle World League 2020 wildcard, you did just amazing, man. Bird in my closet. You had the crazy sounds with it, super well structured, and you rank 11th. And you say you just feel, and one of the interviews that you had on, you said you just felt gutted by just not making it into that. And then Elise drops out for school reasons, and then you get bumped up into that. And now you have a wild card that you've earned, and you're going to be going into the Grand Beatbox Battle World League when it does come back. What is the reaction you've gotten? Because that video is at like 145,000 hits on your channel. Obviously, people are making reaction videos to it, and that was something, again, that really blew my mind to see your progression just so quickly and moving up and moving up and moving up, and now you're on the top battle in the world, and you actually get to go in and have your opportunity on that stage. Are you looking forward to it? Obviously, still training for it, and what did it mean to go and win that?
Yeah, it was just crazy, man. Like around the end of last year, um, I was it was my yeah, so senior year, like of high school. So I just finished high school, and I I was it was like a really weird time for me because I remember deciding to go for early graduation right before that video came out. So to graduate in January, at the end of January. Um, and yeah, I really just wanted to have as much time to work on my beatboxing and have that be the only thing that I needed to do. Before I had to make like the decision of going to college or anything like that. So uh, I remember walking into my counselor's room in school, and my junior year was really rough for me. I always like I'd like to at least think that I have the potential to get good grades and all of that. I always I don't know if beatboxing was the reason for it, but yeah, it was really hard for me to wake up in the mornings to go to school and do my homework. Like when I came home, yeah, sitting down and doing something for school was impossible for me. So I remember doing my homework in the mornings right before my class. Like writing essays sometimes, like the amount of close calls that I put myself on. Yeah, it drained me, and I grew, unfortunately, like a pretty big like hatred towards school. Um, but yeah, like all that kind of led up to my senior year, where it was like, okay, this is my last year to fix my grades, but also uh, I have these important opportunities coming right now. So I knew I was getting like to a pretty high level, and by the time that I was recording it, I knew that there was like a big mental check that happened around that time where. Uh, I had to tell myself, okay, if you're doing this beatbox thing, you need to be honest with yourself and, you know, work hard. So I just remembered telling myself, if I make the perfect take and make the best set I can, I think I can make it. And I recorded. I remember like I was freestyling for the first many takes, like I usually do. I didn't have that routine made. I actually made that routine on the day of, like that set. So I just kept switching it. I wasn't confident, and when I hit that, like I think it was just that intro melody. Um, that's when I felt really confident. I was like, okay, I need to build off of this. There's like a week left to submit wildcards. It's either this or, who knows. And yeah, I remember being like really stressed because I knew if I could get in, how much everything would change, how much my chance to actually succeed with through beatboxing would be, what I could do with that publicity, and then like promote my server with. Like I was thinking about all those things. So yeah, like my parents are just super on the school route, and yeah, I've been in a constant struggle with them for me to understand them and for them to understand me. And it just came at like a time where I knew, like, give it your all, or you just have to. That was the only option. And yeah, like it was pretty emotional when I didn't make it in. I remember watching the wild card announcement. I woke up at like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. when they were announcing them in bed, and I was supposed to. I think it was a weekend, and then yeah, just seeing the names go down. Like, okay, you got fourth, fifth, sixth. You only have three chances now, three spots, and then yeah, I remember seeing Napalm in the 10th, and it was like, okay, that's it, and closed my phone, back to bed. It was just, it dropped. I just felt it, and I didn't know that I got 11th at that point. I didn't know, they didn't announce it, and they announced it I think a few days later, or maybe a day later, and then there was like, it lifted me up just a little bit, maybe I still have that chance, right? Like I thought about it years before, one person dropped out usually every year. I was like, okay, but who's saying that's going to happen this year? I think all the competitors had competed at GBB in one form or another for solo category. So I was like, these guys, actually go and compete. So the chance of them dropping out is really unlikely. So yeah, it was just like people telling me, yeah, someone's gonna drop out for like a period of months, for me, where yeah, you'll still get in, and I said, don't give me the false hope, don't give me the false hope, and yeah, I was in school the time I found out that Alicia dropped out. I got added to a group chat, and I read that, and it was, I think I had like maybe a month left in school, and man, I was excited to be done with school so I could focus on my beatboxing anyways. But then seeing that, everything just like came full circle. And it was just, yeah, it was so crazy because I looked at school differently from that moment. And I just felt like so good in myself, where I was like, I made like the right choice, and nobody believed in me. Like, the generic story, but the fact that it happened just like that, it was just it was hard for me to click in my head. But sitting in classes, listening to these teachers that just I haven't had a great experience with, I just was able to just laugh it off in my head now. Whereas like, okay, yeah, like I knew I was right, and I'd be listening in class with, I wasn't thinking about that. All I'd think about is I was right. That's all I could think about. It was just so, yeah, it's so weird. And still to this moment, leaving school early, I was like the only one from my grade, to my knowledge, to do that. So all my friends were still in school, and yeah, yeah, it was so weird. My high school experience, I don't think many went through that. I missed way too many days of school, sitting up, making up homework, all that stuff. But I knew I could do it. Like any standardized test or anything like that, like I'd do really well on something that I didn't need to like show homework for or something. So there was a huge struggle where like my GPA in school was awful, and my test scores were 99th percentile. So I didn't know where to apply or any of that, and I didn't end up applying to any colleges. I said I'm going to take a gap year, and now I'm currently living in this gap year, a year and a half, where in my mind I need to, make as much impact as I can and try to make something out of my beatboxing. And yeah, I'm kind of on the timer right now.
Well, you're doing it, and you get this opportunity to go and represent at the Grand Beatbox Battle World League, and I'm excited to go and say, I say the 3, y'all say the 2 and the 1. Ladies and gentlemen, D-Koy, it's on you in 3. I'm guaranteeing that you're going to smash it, man, so I'm excited to see that for you. And aside from Grand Beatbox Battle, the World League 2020 that you're going to be involved in, what other things do you have in your solo career, specifically in the beatbox battle scene, that you want to accomplish? Is the American championship in your sights? Is there other battles that you're like, I want to go up and win that battle, or I want to go and have this experience? Or is it mainly the focus on Grand Beatbox Battle currently?
Yeah, I'd say it's mainly focused on the Grand Beatbox Battle. I can't say there's a huge urge for me to be the American champion. Yeah, I just want to have like I just want to be the best beatboxer I can be, with like a skill set that not many have. I want to have sounds that no one else can do, and techniques that no one else can replicate, and just like make it, just such a one of a kind style. That's what I'm aiming for. And yeah, I think I did okay right now. I'll be honest, I'm kind of in a rut right now because I was like getting ready for GBB, and then it got moved back and then moved back again. And now I don't know, because it's like I could keep just like doing the nitty gritty and perfecting what I have, or just like continue learning new sounds, or maybe just doing a big style revamp on top of what I already have. So I don't know, like there's many options. Yeah, right now, solo career wise, I think after GBB, I just want to start actually making some music and treating my solo stuff more as like an actual artist than just competing in these beatbox battles.
And again, I'm excited to go and hear what you've made, because you see people like Gene and Napalm and Ahmed and MB14 and Tom Thumb and all these guys that are making these projects and having success as a beatboxer, as an artist, and putting out projects. So I'm very interested to see what you'd be putting out, because since 2016 too, I see you've been messing with the RC505. So you have some loop station experience, the stuff that I'm sure you're working on. But we'll get to that. And I wanted to go and start talking about the online scene, because you said 2016 is where you start helping run the Discord for humanbeatbox.com. And then a couple years later, when that starts tailing off, you decide to go and make the Beatbox Talk server, and you join up with C-Fresh. Big shout outs to my Canadians, C-Fresh BBK. But you join up with them and start doing Beatbox Talk, and start running that server. And then as that goes on, what got you involved with the idea of being like, okay, I want to go and start running the server for it and giving this opportunity and a platform to beatboxers, especially after your humanbeatbox.com server had the success it did, and then you're moving forward making your own and teaming up with BBK and C-Fresh?
So yeah, so my path, like again, up with the HBB Discord, I ended up again becoming admin, and there was just a period, probably that's like my freshman sophomore year of high school when I was there, and I would just I'd be hosting battles. I remember I think I hosted a battle every single day for like a month and a half straight. So yeah, that was there's only a few people that really know what that is, and after that, it's quite draining, and I just felt like I was putting so much time into it, and yeah, I guess I would say like the feeling, I didn't know exactly what I was getting out of it. Like I liked giving the opportunity for these people, and they were having a good time, and I was definitely for a good period of time. But eventually, I burned out, and I remember a few other people went through that experience of hosting battles really frequently. But yeah, I eventually, it got to a point where the server, wasn't getting like a group of people like organized who were running stuff together. It was usually just like one person doing the most of the work at a time. So like it went well for a while, and I still really respect John and Kazu, but it came to a point where I wanted to kind of be in control of all the decision making, and there were certain aspects where I thought it could be improved on. And yeah, I just had some ideas that I wanted to do, and like in my head there was a way to do things right, and I wanted to just test it out. So I remember being in the HBB server, like kind of frustrated one day, and another member there, Jester, was in that channel, and I was speaking to him, and we kind of mutually agreed that either this needs to be revived or something new needs to be created, and we kind of made the decision, let's try something new. So it was like mid 2017 or 2018. I'm confused. I forget, one of those years, but
I think it was 2018, I believe.
2018. Okay. But so we did it then, or no, I swear it was 2017 to be honest, and it wasn't called Beatbox Talk in the beginning. So originally the server I made, I called it Beatbox Hub, and just really shitty graphics and all that stuff. But I knew some good people in the scene who were nice and who could help out, so I was forming like a staff team, and I think that's one of the things that helped the server grow pretty quickly in the beginning, where I had a team ready and events ready right when the server went public, so I didn't make the server public right away. And like we started reaching out to people and spreading the word, and then we got like a few hundred members, 300 members in like a month or two. And I think, yeah, around that 2 to 3 month mark, I met Young on Discord, and yeah, we got talking, and they were talking about Beatbox Talk, and I remember somehow getting into a voice chat on Discord with Young, and he's friends with KrinFX. So I don't know, like I was just in a room there, and I was just talking, and yeah, that was the conversation where we decided to kind of team up. So I agreed to brand myself under Beatbox Talk, and we started uploading a few shout out videos on the Beatbox Talk channel, and yeah, we started hosting battles, and we saw pretty decent growth from then. And we got like a few thousand members within the course of probably next half year, year. And then hosting Beatbox Talk Champs, which was, the first major battle that I hosted, paid judges, video. I think I don't want to be like claiming firsts, but it was a first for me. Let's just say that. Like we had the video battle online where we were in Skype, and those battles are on the Beatbox community channel now. So recently I rebranded to that, and there's a few projects that I'm working on that I want to push under that now. So yeah, I don't know. I'm skipping around a lot.
That's
but
okay.
Yeah.
It's good to hear you talk, man.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Give me some guidance here with these questions.
Yeah, no. I just you've kind of gone through some of my page of notes here that I was going through, but you have this opportunity. You build this server up. You start getting this, and let's just go directly to it. And now, Beatbox Community, which you've rebranded as, is 100% the biggest online scene when it comes to live beatbox battles online. And you've run Grand Beatbox Battle, the online edition. You ran the Le Cup edition. Today you're running the CIS battle, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Correct. Which is big shout out to Zero again. Zero won the Grand Beatbox Battle online edition 2020 World League. And so how does it feel? Because especially in this time, you've set up a community. And what was the experience of having, run Grand Beatbox Battle online edition, World League online edition, and then Le Cup edition that was online? How did it feel to go and be the guy who's everyone turned to, was like, okay, we can't have live events because of obvious things that are happening in the world. Now we're going to put these things online. Who's the guy? You're the guy. Then you make it happen, and your community just has exploded from what I've seen, and the members and followers and people trying to get into this is just growing and growing and growing. So with your structure that you had already put in place and the groundwork that you've already done for the beatbox community and your brand that you're making, how does it feel to go and have that recognition of people from Paponi to Kim to anybody else looking to go and put on the biggest battles online to come to your community and say, hey, we want to work with you and we want to partner up, because that really has solidified, again, Beatbox Community Discord as the place to go and do that, as the official place to do it?
Yeah, man, it's a crazy experience. So this happened after I already graduated, and well, kind of. So yeah, in my position, I didn't end up finishing all my work by the end of January when I was supposed to graduate, and so I ended up having to stick around for a little longer. And I eventually got all the work I needed to, and Audicle, or now Vocoda, I was hanging out with him a lot on Discord and jamming with him, and we had this jam at American Champs in this past one, and it was something different for me, where I felt like I connected through a jam at a level that I never have before with someone, and I think he felt the same way. So from that, we talked after that American Champs, almost every single day, and we were always thinking about, hey, I'll graduate, and then we can move out somewhere and start practicing there, and that'll be the best time. We all both want that, so it'll be crazy. That ended up happening, so I moved out to Georgia, where I lived with him and Lal or Beats. Shout out to him. He runs the Legends Beatbox battle. Um, and yeah, so with them, I was living, and yeah, it was my first time living away from home, away from my family. It was a pretty cool experience. I learned some independence there, all that kind of stuff, and yeah, that's when all those opportunities started coming in. Unfortunately, you know what's been happening. I don't know. If I can say it without getting like the live stream or any? I don't know if
No, no,
that's
no.
still a thing.
Just the world situation is unfortunate right now because of
Yes.
obviously you have to be isolated and we're stuck at home. But you're allowing this to give an opportunity to the community to still get together and have online events and being the hub for it. So, how did like again because of that and you had the structure, you're the guy to go to. You've set it up. How do you think that has affected the beatbox world in general, not having live events, but you still have the opportunity to go and have battles because of a guy like you to do this?
Yeah. I mean, I think in one form it's benefited a lot of people initially. I don't think I would have had the opportunity to do that if it wasn't for a few people putting the word in. So shout out to Anthony Vocoda. I think he helped me out a bit, and Mix Effects from Portugal. Shout out to him. So yeah, those two guys kind of helped those event organizers know that I'm pretty knowledgeable in that stuff, and so yeah, like I helped run those events, and I think it's benefited the online scene a lot. A lot of these live beatboxers, I think, appreciate it a little more than they did during the TeamSpeaker Ventrilo era, where it's a little more organized now. We brought hopefully some legitimacy, and that was like one of my goals with the beatbox community. Bring legitimacy to the online scene, give those opportunities to beatboxers who are at home, can't afford to go to these live events yet. Really get them uncovered, and then somehow try to support them through cash prize battles. Give them more opportunities so they can actually get out there. So yeah, I think people like Paponi, Kim, all of that. I think they maybe now see that the online scene actually has a lot to offer, and people are just getting better at all the stuff online, like how to run events on Discord. Kim's run a few now, and he's been the host of some, and just I remember just helping these guys out. It's just really cool. I met a lot of them and grew better connection. Like that's when I met Reaps and Skiller. Instead of World Beatbox Camp, I guess it's meant to be at online GBB. So there were judges helping them set up, like giving them settings on their loop station for the best online sound, so stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Myself included, figure out how to go and make this moik sound noise on noise. And I was gonna say, what are the biggest pros and cons? Because you've experienced both of them, obviously, from online live. What is the difference in experience as a performer and also as an organizer? But what is the biggest difference you think in an online scene and comparatively to a live event? What is the biggest difference in your opinion?
Okay, well, live, they obviously, you can kind of, the parts outside the battle itself, like, going to grab a drink or going to grab food, like that kind of stuff, for the moment doesn't exist in the online scene. I think it's possible eventually, though. Like VR, all that stuff. That's a whole nother thing. I've been thinking about that for a while. I was like, man, this could be crazy eventually. But yeah, like those kinds of things, jam circles. That's the biggest thing for me. Like Right now, latency is the issue with online. When you make a sound, it plays back like a little bit delayed to anyone listening. So if they try to add a sound to you, then it won't work. The only way to jam right now is one guy just does a straight bass line, or just does one note, and the other guy just spams like a drum pattern or something like that. So yeah, that's one of the biggest things for me. um, yeah, like obviously the stage and all of that, one thing, but I'd say there are some benefits to the online scene too, because it lets us see some people who wouldn't be able to go to live events. Um, you know, you won't meet some people in real life at an event, and that's something that you need to accept. But live, everything becomes so much more possible. Reach out to that person if there is that somebody you want to meet. And who knows, you could be in a Discord call with them in the next day. So the combinations of people that you can bring together, it's a lot more possible online. But yeah, like I think right now they both have their benefits. Just the comfort of your own home, that as well. Yeah, there's a few things, but yeah, I'd say those are most of them.
And what in your opinion, again, from having years of experience now and seeing it, what in your opinion can be done to make online battles better? If anything, obviously there's always ways to improve, but is there anything that's been in your mind where you're like, I'd love to go and see a battle that's done like this online?
Yeah, I'd say most of the stuff is kind of on the capabilities of the programs we use. Like some audio stuff. I don't think online battles still have the level of audio that it can. And there are some ways to go about that, but like they're either really expensive, or you know I eventually, like, I'm just thinking of a program or an app or something like that, just made for beatboxers, made for these battles, where it's just an all-in-one package. Instead of like on Discord, you need to get like these bots that all perform their own tasks, like the timers or cues or anything like that. There should be a much more visually appealing and better functioning way to do it. I mean, it's possible to custom code. Do we have the people in our scene for that? Maybe. If there are, send me a message. But yeah, no, like making stuff like that possible, I think it'll come eventually. Just like a dedicated place, because right now it's kind of like the best for the general person. Like gaming communities are on Discord. Every community. Average audio. It looks okay. But it's not like meant for a certain type of scene. So I think something like that would be the best.
Yeah, well, Madox just said that Collapse is a programmer, so maybe you got to go and talk to Collapse and get that mustache power in there.
Oh, true.
Yeah, I was gonna say the one last question. I heard you were on LFOD radio podcast January 2020 when you were on with Choppa the Beatboxer, and you had, in the interview, they were asking questions. One of the things you said, you don't think it's the healthiest thing for our beatboxing to be so heavily driven by the battles, and everybody's always wondering about when's the next battle? How do I get to the battle? I want to battle. I want to battle. So what did you mean by that statement, just in general? Because a lot of people share that same thought. That I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but I'll let you answer that yourself. What did you mean by saying that it might not be the healthiest thing, being the key word?
I think because eventually, if you hold yourself to that mindset, if you don't like achieve the certain results that in your head you should be able to achieve, it might put you down. Eventually there's a cycle, that unless you're really staying on top of it and you're always motivated, you'll start to notice the cycle where, I made GBB this year, right? And that's great. That's amazing for me. But next year, I realize or unless I, come out with something so refreshing and so new, which is possible, I think it's going to be harder for me to ever, win that wild card again. So, because there's so much like evolution at like such a fast rate right now, I experienced this for a while where, you start even seeing names that before you always considered in your mind, hey, I'm like better than this guy. But those guys are leveling up and practicing, they don't see like the roof yet, So when they make a new technique or a new sound, all it takes is to structure it well with cleanliness. And those guys would kind of be in the position that I was in this year. So, it's going to be harder and harder. But I also, who knows, maybe I don't know yet if that's true because I haven't experienced GBB itself yet. So maybe me getting that opportunity to perform, I'll have this knowledge or experience that few have had. So I'll have that advantage over people. It's like a double-edged sword, but I just think that there's not enough focus on like becoming again like the true artist, or I don't know how to explain it, but like more people need to be making more time into making tracks and putting them out on platforms like Spotify and collabing with artists and anybody locally, like other musicians. Our scene needs to try to get involved into other scenes as much as possible, which, I haven't released an EP or anything on Spotify yet either. So, but right now, like I'm kind of in this like toss up between, my community and my solo beatboxing. It's a weird dynamic that I need to balance, but I do want to do both. So somehow I'm managing it right now, but who knows what will happen.
Yeah, the only time can tell, but I'm looking forward to seeing what you have in your mind that you're going to be able to put out as a solo project. I'm excited to go and see you battle. I'm excited to see you continue pushing the online scene because you're doing the best job of it, man, and you should be proud of that. But I think I got some other questions for you we'll get to, but I got a quick question. Do you want to get into rapid fire questions? So this is going to be questions I ask you, and I want you to go and try to answer directly off the top of your head. So ladies and gentlemen, right here live once again, Beyond the Beats with my good friend D-Koy, we're going to get into rapid fire. First question, who is your current favorite solo beatboxer?
Oh wow, probably Darnie still.
Favorite tag team?
Mad Twins.
Favorite looper?
Either Arthur Henry or Slizzer.
Ooh. Favorite tennis player?
Oh, Juan Martín Del Potro. I have him hanging on my wall right here.
Favorite tennis match you've ever been to or watched?
Ooh. Del Potro versus Agut. I think it was. Yeah, it's hard to remember. If not that, Djokovic and God, I keep forgetting one guy's name right now. I'm rusty, man.
That's okay. Favorite Michael Jackson song?
Oh, Smooth Criminal.
Favorite old school hip hop artist?
Can I name a group?
Correct, yes.
The Alcoholics.
Favorite video game right now?
I'm playing Valorant right now. A lot.
Do you still hate supercuts and dares?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was rapid fire questions. I'm glad I got you on that last one. All right, moving on. Every week we're doing questions where I talk to Papuni, and we have questions where we go back and forth, and he sends me some ideas for questions and kind of mix it out. So I have now time for my good friend Papuni to go and ask some questions. Questions from
my friend Papuni.
My friend Papuni.
My friend Papuni.
My friend Papuni.
So Papuni asks, first of all, he says first time he remembers really meeting you was when you were translating the Mad Twins workshop at World Beatbox Camp and being able to speak Russian to go in between them and the classes. And you told them that you have roots in Israel and also as Russian as your background. So how do you think that has influenced your beatboxing? if it has had any cultural influence on your beatboxing.
I'm not sure if it's influenced my beatboxing because I listen to like old school hip hop is kind of the main genre. Some electronic music. I don't know. Maybe maybe through some drum patterns, like some sounds that in like the Russian language, some positions of the mouth that like you don't use in English a lot. Maybe something like that. I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
That's okay. That's a question from
My friend Papuni.
And another question from
my friend Papuni.
He wants to say that if you can explain a little bit about more in general, how you see the American scene in a worldwide view.
Like where its place is in the world, or like how the world. I don't know. Try.
His question was essentially, he goes, if you can explain a little bit more about how the American scene works, just in general. Also, how it is, how the American scene views the outside world, and how the outside world would view the American scene, in your opinion.
Okay. So I think the American scene right now is, I think it's a little bit split up right now. There's still some areas that are pretty underdeveloped. A lot of like the areas where there's a lot of the high level beatboxers from America, it's mostly the East Coast. So I want to shine some more light to the West Coast, to the South, and to like the Midwest, that area. I think that the outside world isn't bringing enough light to those communities. I don't think the East Coast itself, we're not helping out those areas enough, to be completely honest. So bringing more opportunities and having them throw more community stuff. In general, I think there needs to be more community events, and the local areas, Boston Beatbox, we haven't been doing as many meetups as we should, and I think that there are a few people who are helping out, but not enough who are going to these meetings who are helping them out. So all it takes is one or two people in every area work together and jam and just like post a video and then pick a date and time and say, hey, somebody come through if you want. We're jamming here at this time. That on a consistent schedule, I think, is what we need. And the more we throw those kinds of events around, I think that'll be the best. I think Beatbox House is doing a good job with the battles that they've been having every month. The Beatbox House battles. I went to one of those. It was a pretty good time. So yeah, stuff like that everywhere would be ideal. But yeah, we mostly just meet up at a few events a year. I haven't even been out to a lot of the events like outside East Coast and American Champs. I haven't even been to Legends, and I lived with the guy who ran it. So stuff like that. It's just hard to get around. But yeah, I think that besides that, like the scene is kind of breeding online until we have that live event that's happening. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, but the way we look at the rest of the world, I guess, is I think that we know that we have some of the best beatboxers in the world, I think, but there's not enough, like, again, community, like meeting up. And whether that's because America's big, I don't know. But yeah, I think that we wish we were more like some of the European scenes, where you see their jams, you see them posting on social media, them hanging out with each other. You don't get as much of that equivalent and opportunity in America. It's just the big events, American Champs and East Coast, that happen. Yeah, that's mainly it, I think.
Well, we find that I feel that as well in Canada, because again, it's hard for someone like Vino, who lives out in BC and Cymax, to be like, oh, we're just going to jump on a plane and go over and chill and jam with them. and it's it's very expensive and not really practical. Whereas in some of the countries that have just straight up smaller land masses, it's easier for them to be like, oh, we're going to go in here and then we're going to go here, and every Wednesday we get together and hang out. Or it's an easier thing for 10 beatboxers to get together and just jam out. So I agree with you that it might be a little more difficult, specifically in North America as a whole, in America itself. But that was a question from
my friend Papuni.
Another question from
My friend Papuni.
My friend Papuni.
My friend Papuni.
He wants to go and say, online, since you've been running it a lot and having the opportunity to be on there since you started battling and then doing the HBB and now with Beatbox Community, how many new beatboxers have you discovered online that you've seen that have made a big impact into the world of beatboxing? And are there a bunch of beatboxers out there that you know of and you think if they get the opportunity given to them, which they are online currently, are they going to be able to make a huge impact and possibly have a big career in beatboxing?
Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of guys from the online scene start to make their way out live. You have like during the TeamSpeak times, you have these guys really appearing now in the biggest battles, Audical or Vokoda, he was battling all the time there. Inertia was battling all the time there. Now you see some videos blowing up. Improver, he was battling a ton there. And yeah, that's before a lot of them were going to any live events. And yeah, I think as the online scene shifts to Discord, you start to see Discord beatboxers get like the exposure. You saw like Indicator's video has blown up. He's all the time online. Remix, he made GBB Online. Like GBB Online brought some beatboxers to light onto Swissbeatbox that haven't been on there yet. I'm pretty sure. And Tilts. So yeah, like there's just some really unique guys, and there's so many more than just those who came out there. So I think there's absolutely a ton of beatboxers who, given the opportunity, yes, they would definitely become big impacts in the scene. Yeah, a lot of these guys though too, they're pretty shy. Like I'm just gonna say some of these guys' names. For anyone listening, check them out. They have maybe one or two videos here and there online, but yes, I think there's some of my biggest influences, and the reason why maybe some people think I get the compliment that I'm original a lot. I do think that I'm pretty original, but a lot of this stuff it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for a few of these names. So I'd say a lot of them are from the US too, which is weird, and they don't go to live events. So Notive, Water or Adam. Yeah. Shammy, he actually went to GNB.
Ish.
Yeah. Man, I feel bad if I miss some, but Big Squid from Canada, he'll probably come soon. Yeah.
Sorry, I'll stop doing that.
No, you're good. There's so many others that I think are just underrated and underappreciated right now, but I just love to see them slowly coming up. And, I just really hope they all get their opportunity, just like I did with this GBB run. Just like Shaw, Tariq, there's so many, man. Like they'll just keep flying through my head, man.
Yeah, the online scene, it just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. And I have seen myself, I was never really in the online scene, not because I wasn't interested, but I didn't take that step, and I was always just doing stuff live and caught up in my own stuff. But getting the experience and going and seeing how the community is online and seeing some names and some of them that you mentioned there, I was just like, whoa, who's this guy? Whoa, where's this person coming from? Yeah. And I think it'd be amazing to go and see more people. I'm excited. Again, this afternoon's battle that we're going to be having, the CIS battle with all Russian-speaking languages beatboxers that are going to be going on, put on by Zero and Swissbeatbox, and you guys at Beatbox Community. I'm excited to go and see some new names that I haven't personally seen maybe or heard. So the online scene is definitely growing, and I'm excited to see where that goes. And speaking of that, another question from
My friend Papuni
wants to know, since you've been running, and he's very appreciative that you, Mixed FX, and other people have reached out and helped make the Grand Beatbox Battle Online World League Online Edition happen and the Cup happen online, and you're helping push these scenes. What do you think, and can you give some advice, is what he asked. Can you give advice for new beatbox communities online and where they can go and grow, and how would you give them advice on growing their online community specifically?
So I think I came at a time where there was a lot missing. That's why I think we grew to the size that we grew, because a lot of people agreed that there needs to be a new place that was doing things consistently. Consistency is key at this point. You need to be original with your server. Like running, top 8, top 16 battles. Yes, it's great, and but it'll be tough probably for newer communities to gather those people, unless it's a community that already exists and they just want to make something online. Then I'd say you need to have some new format. What I mean by that is like D-Lo, he held his BBXR division. That's a really cool format. And I mean, that had great success also because he's D-Lo, but I think that format would work amazingly with anyone. So formats like those, and make a good staff team. You want to keep the chats clean, because online, a lot of that toxicity that was associated with the online scene before, it happened because people aren't afraid to say a lot of things behind a screen, whereas live, the scene is way less known to be toxic because everyone's in person. Why would you ever say that to someone's face? So I think keeping the standards of the live scene online as well. But yeah, just being unique, being consistent, posting online. Those are the key things, I'd say.
All right. Those are questions from
My friend Papuni.
Thank you for answering them. And now we go to the crowd, because again, we've been live streaming right here Beyond the Beats. We're on episode 7. We got D-Koy, and these are the questions that Madox picked out from the chat, and these are the questions that they want to go and ask you. So currently, one of the questions is, if you don't mind me asking, and you don't mind this person asking, how old are you right now, actually?
I'm 18 years old.
Again, these are questions from the crowd. Ish. Another question from the crowd is, what is your favorite all-time Grand Beatbox battle moment that you've watched?
Oh, wow. I mean...
Is there a battle that sticks out to you? Is there a moment that sticks out to you?
This is tough. I need to think. I think Gene's run was pretty great for me to watch. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, 2017, the Sorrow time, that was obviously pretty magical. Since then, I'd say Codfish, the way he brought new energy to GBB. I think that was pretty great to watch as well. Yeah, I'd say those are some of the best moments.
All right. Another good question from our audience. The question they want to go and ask is, what is your favorite current sound, new sound, that you've either learned or you have heard in the beatbox scene?
Wow. I'd say probably from Vocoder. He has like this way of doing, I think, inward bass with his like the scratch. I forget what the scratch is called. Or man, he did it in his battle against Pira, which is out now on Swiss. Yeah, I think it's a crazy combo of sounds. Yeah, I think layered sounds like that are really sick.
I think I have an idea of what you're talking about, but if not, we can go back and watch the video that just got released. So I check it out. So that your favorite current sound. Those were questions from the audience, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you guys. Everybody here tuning in right here live and direct. But the last question is actually into my next section, because basically we're gonna have questions where I'm gonna go and ask you to teach me something real quick, a question that people have asked, and regardless if I get it or not. But then I'm going to ask you if you'd also have energy to do a freestyle for the people that are watching and drop some beats. And then we'll be ending off with just a few more questions. But I got everyone wants to know about your bird sound specifically and the way that you put it in. So can you, for the people watching at home and the people that are going to watch this back afterwards, can you describe your bird sound and also teach it to me? Because I know that you also do online classes and you're teaching online as well. So if people want to go and see somewhat of your style, here's an opportunity. And if you have time and the energy to go and do it, let me. I'm your student. Try to teach me. I'm not the best here, but I can try.
Okay, so the bird sound. Okay, so I use the major parts here is the tongue placement and how you align it with your teeth. So I take the tip of my tongue, and this is how I sometimes do my lessons. I get a little closer to the mouth of D-Koy. Welcome to my mouth. So yeah, the tongue. This is the position. Now you can't really see yet here, but I fold my tongue towards the center and towards the tip.
All right.
That takes some time in developing muscle. In the beginning, it won't come out like that, but that positioning behind your teeth, it creates a small little crease there, where underneath my tongue, here, there's a small air pocket.
Okay.
And using the air from there and using force, like pushing the air out from there through that little crease, and it usually comes kind of up and forward. That's what creates the whistle. So. Yeah, I mean, it's something. Yeah. In the beginning, I think I was doing like, which is more like, I don't even know how to describe the. Yeah, it's just folding the two sides of your tongue towards the center.
All right.
And eventually, I kind of have my top row of teeth, not like bite down on my tongue, but keep it right above it, so it doesn't leave like room for the tongue to really move, and it allows it to be pretty consistent. Yeah.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to take some time to go and figure out on my end. Maybe some people right away are better learners than I, or just pick that up. But once again, that was a good way of showing it, getting up close like that, being able to actually see, because that makes way more sense when people break it down. If they just describe it and they can't see your face, it's harder. But that was definitely cool. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I hope you guys are trying that at home, because I'm gonna watch this back and kind of slow-mo that part down so I can try it some more, because just going for me is it's rather embarrassing. So I mean, we'll spend some time practicing it. Maybe next time you hear me, I'll be actually able to do something along those lines and make it a style of my own. So ladies and gentlemen, that's how you go and make the bird sound according to D-Koy. This point right now, I think we've waited. I think people are excited. We've got to talk to you about your life, been talking to you about some online stuff, your battle career, all sorts of things. But the crowd wants to go and hear you beatbox. If you're ready, take some water. Ladies and gentlemen, right here live, beyond the beats. He's warming up for a quick second, getting himself in the right position. Are you ready to go and show some beatboxing for the people that are watching right here?
Yeah.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I say the 3, y'all say the 2 and the 1. D-Koy, showing what you got on Beyond the Beats. In 3. Ladies and gentlemen, DK just smashing it. D-Koy smashing it. Jeez. Man.
Thank you, man.
Man. Whoa. I'm impressed, man, every time. I've been watching you when you do your live streams as well on your Facebook page, but nasty. Even Madox messaging us right here. Madox saying, yo, that's so sick, so sick. The flow. Man's got the flow. People are wilding out. I'm seeing comments right now on the live stream. People are enjoying. Jeez, man. That's why you made it in Grand Beatbox Battle. I can't wait to go introduce you on stage and have you go and smash it. Yeah. I'm feeling pretty good right now. I had a good time, man, with you talking, because it's nice to hear your opinions, and I thank you very much for coming on. Before we jump off, my last few questions are, is there anything you're working on currently that you're excited about, that you're that you can talk about? Because I know there's some stuff that you said that you're working on that you can't talk about necessarily. There's you have some battle ideas or stuff that you want to keep to yourself. But one thing I want to go and do ask you about is, you had mentioned again on that LFOD radio podcast that you're trying to work on some sort of 12-week beatbox course curriculum to teach beatboxers. And what? So just that one first. What type of program are you going to try to create, and what are you trying to go and make of that? Why are you thinking of making a 12-week program to go and get the intro of beatboxing / some of the steps to get better, and how would that work?
Yeah, I'll be honest, that project's kind of been paused for a while. I still have passion in pushing it, but there's only so many things I can do right now. But yeah, like I thought of just like giving the best foundation for beatboxers to evolve from and move from, giving them the best like basic understanding that I got when I was learning. So from building the foundation of the beatbox sounds, making sure that you're doing them as cleanly as possible, bringing focus, or trying to like build a new beatboxer's mind to focus on at least what I value or what I think should be valued. From there towards building your own unique style, putting like emotion, the way you like put emotion into your beats, structuring them, creating new sounds, of course, like the mindset behind it. A lot of it is explaining mindset, which I'd say I'm pretty good at. The way you got to interpret maybe music to give you inspiration into your beats, because I see that just as like a resource bin So yeah, a lot of that kind of stuff, writing it out. And I wanted to have like almost like 3 tiers and build it in with a Discord server. So that was my idea, where I'd have like teachers and stuff, that there'd be like tiers where there'd just be a community where people who are following this course can access, and they could talk with each other as they were evolving. Another tier would be to actually like get check-ins from the teachers and let you know like how you're doing, what you could work on, stuff like that. So yeah, I still think there's a lot of potential. I don't mind that idea of being public, although I haven't pushed it that much. So, but yeah, I think there's a lot of potential towards that.
I think that would be definitely a cool project for sure. And especially people being stuck at home still relatively gives them an opportunity to go and learn a new skill or refine what they have. And is there any other thing that you want to talk about that I've missed, or something else that's important to you, or something that you want to go and say project wise that you're working on in the future?
I'll announce, I guess I haven't said this anywhere, but this August, in the works still, but this August should be coming, the Online Worlds should be coming to a feeding review. So yeah.
You heard it here first from D-Koy. Online World Championship, another edition coming on. Beatbox community is going to be putting it on. D-Koy is going to be putting on. You guys are going to be in the chat going wild. Esh. Ladies and gentlemen, heard here first on Beyond the Beats. Let's go and make that official. Yeah. And where can people go support you, man? Where can people go find out your stuff? YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Beatbox servers. What can they do? The Patreon. What is there out there for people to go and support you and the Beatbox community?
Yeah, so for my personal, you can follow me, D-Koy Beatbox, D-K-O-Y Beatbox, one word, no spaces, all lowercase, no dash, on Instagram, then on YouTube. Yeah, you can just type in D-Koy Beatbox. You'll probably need to scroll, but I only have one video up there with Inertia. It's pretty sick, so check that out. But I want to be releasing some more on there. For Beatbox Community, just search Beatbox Community on YouTube, where the Beatbox Community on Instagram. Going to be trying to get that the out of the tag soon. But so follow us on Instagram, our Discord, where GBB Online happen, where Lock Up Online happen, and where Online Worlds will happen, discord.gg/beatbox. So just type that in your browser. And yeah, you'll join a community. Please read the rules. Don't want you guys getting banned by my staff. So just check it out there. You guys should level up a lot and hear a lot of new talent if you haven't been on there before. If you guys want to support any of my projects financially, then patreon.com/beatbox community, I believe. We got a few tiers there. You might even be able to get a lesson from me. So hit me up on Instagram if you want beatbox lessons. That would be all.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, right here live, episode 7 of Beyond the Beats. Thank you so much, D-Koy, for jumping on. I think people enjoyed it. You have a good time?
I had a great time, man. Thank you guys for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
I had a good time having you on here. And once again, go support him. Find him on Instagram. Find him on YouTube. Go on the Beatbox community. Watch out for the World Online Beatbox Championship coming at you live and direct this August. Check out his community online. Support the community. Push the community. And this has been Beyond the Beats, where we find out what's happening beyond the beats, ladies and gentlemen, live with D-Koy. Once again, thank you for coming on, my man. We're going to end off like that. Crowd. Ish. Jeez. Let's keep it going. D-Koy, Scott Jackson here, live Swissbeatbox. Thank you very much. Put in the comments what you liked about this. Give it a like, share them around, and we'll see you next week on finding out what's happening beyond the beats. Thank you very much for having us. Jeez. Time.